Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm trying to do one of these live one things. I really didn't get enough experience with it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. But hey, I got a quick little story. I'm in the new van relaunch. I think this is mission trip number 4, y'all. Tell me that isn't just crazy. Praise Jesus. But anyways, so I want to share a story that happened last night of some guy knocking on my van, and it is a testimony of how good God is. Okay, so the last couple years, I've been dealing with a heavy amount of loneliness because my dating ideals and morals have changed. So, when you're, let me think how to phrase this. When you're lonely, that gives birth to desperation. And desperation gives birth to compromise. And compromise gives birth to lowering your standards and your ideals. And oh, sorry, I didn't realize this is shaky. And so, anyways, yeah, so I've seen a lot of girls who were like attractive enough to want to ask on a date, but I keep just not going after it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna wait until I know it's the woman God has planned for me. And the thing about that is, when is that ever gonna freaking come, y'all? It's been like 2.5 years. It's been a long road. And so I was just yesterday I saw a couple girls, like they were obviously given attention. Part of me wanted to like pursue them, but like visually I just don't know if it was like right where what I was after, what I wanted, etc. And so I just decided, I was like, no, you know what, like I got to decide, not just in my head but with my action. Do I believe God is who he says he is? And and the God of Scripture is an all-knowing, loving Father who knows our every need and can meet our every need, and he knows all the desires of our heart before we even ask. And so I was just like, so I keep kind of like just turning down these opportunities and even though they're like smoking hot, maybe there's like a feature I don't like, or there's a this or that I don't like, and as trivial as that stuff sounds, it's like, man, I get one shot. All of us, like, think about it, and this goes for you too. This is both of us. We get one shot on who we spend the rest of our lives with. And if we settle, you got to live with the fact that you settled forever. And that's just a horrible, horrible thought to me. And so, so I'm sitting there and I'm just like praying to God. And I'm just like, God, like, and I was just being real with him. I was like, man, it is exhausting having to endure all this. And I'm just, all I'm asking for, I guess, is the strength to keep enduring, the strength to like continue on like this trek. But I'm just praying that it's all worth it, that my efforts will be rewarded, which is ironic because like even I can't even take credit for my own efforts, because like even the good stuff that comes from me, even he gets credit for that. It's like I have nothing I'm bringing to the table. And so but still, you just kind of, like I said the prayer, and I'm just like, God, I would love to meet just the woman of my dreams. And I kind of was just like, if you could just give some kind of confirmation or something, just let me know that this is all going to pay off. And so ended up having this super busy, crazy day. And then the next thing you know, all of a sudden, like last night, I hear this knock on the van. And so I go outside, and it's like this older, like Hispanic dude. And his name's Roger. And and then he tells me, he's like, hey, I saw you yesterday. He was like, you went to the, he's like, I saw you at this gym and I wanted to talk to you, but it was right as you were pulling out. And then I saw you somewhere else and it was right as you were pulling out. And I'm in San Antonio, y'all, and I'm bouncing around town. This wasn't like staying in one area. This is like all over San Antonio. And so he was like, and he tells me, he's like, so I told God, I was like, God, I can tell in my heart you want me to go talk to this man, but I don't know where he is or if I'll ever see him again. And so I'm leaving it in your hands. If you want me to communicate with him, I'm just asking that you bring him back before me. And so sure enough, I pulled into the parking lot that night of where he was at, and it was just crazy. And so he comes up and knocks, and he was like, yeah. And I didn't tell him anything. I didn't say what my life's been like. I didn't tell him the desires of my heart. I didn't tell him my prayers earlier. He's like, I just want to let you know that God sent me to tell you, about that there's a wife on the way for you. And he was like, and I also wanted to tell you, and it was so funny because like, I mean, if I'm getting like, way too descriptive, I mean, there's down to like looks, down to like curvature, down to what I want her freaking breasts to look like. Sorry to be real, but snap, hey, everyone's got their preferences. One person likes redhead, next person likes a blonde, next person dark hair. I got my preferences too. And and I believe that. I think whatever I'm attracted to is exactly what God wanted me to end up with. And so, but he starts telling me, he's like, you're not going to have to compromise. And he's descriptively describing the junk I was praying. And it was just crazy. And it was like, it was super crazy, because it's like one of those where you're sitting there and you're just like, how the freaking heck do you know all this, man? And he just was telling me, he was like, yeah, it's just God sent me. And so it's pretty crazy. So I guess if there's just a big encouragement I have for everyone, it's just like, God didn't have to come to me like that. He didn't have to say all that stuff to me. He didn't have to send me that confirmation, but he did, and I think it's a testimony of how good he is. And it's a testimony also to just patience. So I guess if I had an encouragement after all this stuff, is it's just like, believe, but be patient. It's like, if you plant a seed in the ground, think of it this way. Like, if you put a seed in the ground, you can water it all you want to. But just because something didn't sprout up the very next day doesn't mean it isn't growing, right? And a seed grows at the rate a seed grows. Like a tree grows at the rate a tree grows. And I was actually it's like, if you think about it, it's like an apple tree. You put an apple seed into the ground, like an apple seed is going to grow to like a freaking million times bigger than what it really is. It's going to grow into an apple tree and yield a ton of fruit, all the days of its life. But it's going to grow at the rate it grows. And so sometimes we want to like fast forward it. And Satan is a liar, and he tells you that there is a way to fast forward some of these things, or that, but at the end of the day, it's like, you just got to decide, like, is God looking out for you? You got to decide, is God a good God? You got to ask yourself that. You got to, and not just in your head believe it, but in your action. Does your action show that you like believe this stuff? Do you believe that God is a good God? Do you believe that he is a provider? Do you believe that some of the tastes that we have, and the preferences, and the things we want in this life, that he didn't know that stuff, or he didn't engineer us for a certain reason? And Satan is the one who's going to tell you, like, hey, even though you're into this, don't go for this. You don't, you can't have it all, or you can't have this and that. And so it's like, man, I'm a freaking dreamer, y'all. And so, yeah, so somehow while living in a creepy van with no traditional job, my pickiness has grown. Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened, but you know what? I'm a man of faith, and so I'm going to believe. So, I'd encourage that to you. It's like, look, we're on a team. We're on this journey called life, and, just hang in there. Just keep praying that prayer. Ask God for the strength. If he's not, just say, if you're not going to give it to me tomorrow, at least give me the strength to get through tomorrow, and so, but anyways, yeah, I just want to share that little story with you. So, love you guys. I hope this uploads, and so, I'm praying for you. Hey, if you need some help, if you need some prayer or whatever, shoot me a message, missionmike.com. If you're a believer, or even if you're not a believer, it's like, man, I'd love to talk about this stuff and just tell you just how good God is, and how you too can start having some of these crazy miracles in your life. And as always, hey, there's a little support option on there. Oh yeah, had to give a little plug in there. But yeah, ultimately, it's like, look, I'm praying for all of us, and for just the children of the Lord. That we could glorify Him, and part of glorifying Him is just the blessings that He promises us, and I'm talking like biblical blessings, not like God. It's not God's job to make you wealthy, And so, anyways, I mean, I guess maybe. I'm not saying you can't be wealthy. That's not biblical, but I think you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying. If you don't, that's on you and your listening abilities. But anyways, hey, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Okay, hold on. Tried to end it, but I don't know how to end this thing.